I also want to say hello to our YouTube friends. Starting a little earlier today, so as those of you who are trickling in, want to say hello to you, Tolmart, Dynamic Entry, Saruman. Welcome. So, one of the questions was let's see. Did I miss it? Oh, yes. Yes, about the patch. What was found that was game breaking? There's a couple of issues right now. So, guys, remember this, okay? This is a patch coming out while we're already pretty far along and working towards what's coming in the spring. So we're kind of having to thread this needle really carefully. And it also introduces, a nice ripe environment for things to get a little off. So the two that I know about that are the most egregious right now are, number one, related to the new ability loadouts, the saveable ability loadouts. There's still some kinks in that, and instead of like patching it in and then being like, so nobody use it, we're just gonna get the kinks ironed out so that you guys can use it freely, and all of the kinks can get worked out. The other one is there's an issue right now. I noticed it with the summoner, with all the work going on with the summoner, but there's something is causing abilities once scribed to not be visible in the spell book. Which, again, with all the work that's being done, getting ready for mastery, with the mastery system, being worked on, with the loadouts, all that stuff, there's a lot of things being touched. So we need to get those two things fixed, and we're giving ourselves just ample time to do that, to make sure that we get that fixed in time. Did you fix the zombie death animation? I did. Well, what's going on, AK? Good to see you. Hope your day is going well as well. Alinar, good to see you. Joppa, I got a question about Discord messages. Discord messages. Is there anyone monitoring them? Yeah, we don't typically respond, or don't consistently respond, I should say anyway, to direct Discord messages. So if you're talking about a specific message you've sent somebody, then that could be one of the reasons for the delay. If you're talking about just a general question that you've asked in Discord, I'm not sure. Not sure. Yo, Butt Chunder, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Woo! Thank you so much, my friend, in the 13 months of support. I really appreciate that, Butt Chunder. Thank you. I did start early. I did. Taking your boy out for birthday lunch at Joe's Crab Shack? Nice. Yo, what's going on, Travis Two-Tone? Pojo Landmies. What's going on, Forgiven? Good to see you. Hope everybody is doing well. What's going on, Exor? Sergio. Welcome. Hellsent. What is coming to Pantheon? I loved the game in the beginning and stepped away shortly after the Druid came out. I would love to come back. Well, I'm glad you asked. There is actually quite a bit coming to Pantheon as soon as the spring. So with the spring, or in the spring, we haven't announced an official date yet, specific date, but in the spring, we are going to be doing a full character wipe. We are going to be introducing our player mail and auction house. We are going to be getting rid of chevrons or elite NPCs and moving to a unified NPC type. We've got the mastery system coming online, which is a kind of an alternate advancement talent form of character progression. We've got tons of class updates, classes being fleshed out up to level 50. We've got changes to the experience curve. We've got a whole new slice of content coming, Body of Dakara, which is a large ocean section to the south of Silent Plains with a lot of content, and the list goes on. it goes on. So it's going to be a great time to come back if you've stepped away. Can't think of a better time to come back. Quick question about the new zones. Will they be high level 40 to 50 so we have some alternative to trenches? I mean, you never know. You're going to have to wait and see. Don't have a specific date yet. Right. Not a specific date yet. We'll let you guys know once we get a little closer. Let's see. Okay. Our character animation is getting some love? Yes. It's actually something we are... I mean, animation polish is something that happens pretty regularly. You know, touch-ups here and there, tweaks. But it's something we're going to be focusing a little bit more heavily this year. And we'll talk about that once we get a little closer to it. But yeah, definitely lots of polish that the animations need, and we are going to be putting some time in. I don't really see an issue with the animations. I mean, I do. They're not all of them, but a lot of them need a little something. Need a little something. You know? All right. Hold on a second. Okay. I'll just get my work environment ready here. Like for me, a lot of the big ones for me are there's some polish to our run animation that I want to do, that I want to see us do. You know, sitting, like weapon placement, sheathing, like proper animated sheathing. We need better distinction between our male and female animation set, and also like with the different races. There's quite a few combat animations that are missing. So things like animation variations. So you're not always swinging the same way, you know, with the weapon that you have. And then just some flow, attention to kind of the flow and the transition between the different attack animations. There's also some combat animations, like some idols that are just kind of busted. And a little... chopped. I'm thinking of specifically the two-handed slashing animation. I much prefer our two-handed blunt animation, and would like to see something a little more like that. A little more heft, a little more weight. And that's not a complete list, but yeah. All right, let's see. Let me catch up here real quick. Yeah, no more stab through the shoulder. Yeah, Thorn, I totally get it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the same boat. That makes sense. Makes sense. Under the cleric channel, there's a troll arguing with all the clerics in it, and it's a long post, and all it is one guy telling everyone else they're wrong. Yeah, that sounds very familiar. That's kind of internet communities in a nutshell, I think. A lot of times. Yep. When we switch loadout abilities out of combat, there was mentioned there would be a cooldown to ask about it in the extreme. Is this a global cooldown, or will it put our abilities on their own cooldown? This is this is a global special case cooldown where all of your abilities will go on cooldown for the same time until they're available again. Yeah, it's not going to like trigger all of their individual cooldowns. What's up, Joskar? Yes, X score, that's a big part of it. Like there's one, I think maybe it's even with the two-handed blind animation where you've got like your one hand on the handle and the other hand's like down here, not even touching the handle. And like the weapon orientation and just the size and shape of the weapons and making sure that they, fit. There's a lot of little cleanup there that we need to do, for sure. What's going on, Crit? Good to see you. I take it harvesting skill has no effect on chance of large carrot or juicy apples. It does not. No, it does not. My flappy legs on halflings are concerning. Looks like anxiety meds are needed. I'm wondering if that's going to be better. We actually disabled the ground IK because for the cool moments that it was giving, where you're one leg's hiked above the other and it looks like you're naturally standing there and stuff. It was causing so many issues with just a lot. And since we've removed it, I've found anyway that I feel like the base run animation and the base just the base animations look better. They just look cleaner because they're not being altered by the IK at all. Even if it was slightly, it was still kind of altering them slightly. So, hey Joppa, I love Pantheon. Warm hugs from Sweden. Thanks for a good game. What is your thought about Ashes of Creation not making it? What is going on, Isabel? It makes me sad. It makes me really sad. I was very sad at first, and as I've come to learn more, particularly the current situation that a lot of the Ashes team, like the employees and the devs, are in. Some of them, it's really rough. Like they're really struggling. So it's just made me really sad and really upset. And I am trying not to really talk about it all that much because I want to wait until more information's out there. There's plenty of people that, I try not to jump to conclusions, even if they seem obvious. But I'm really upset about it, and I'm disappointed because it's, I never got to try the thing. I kept waiting and putting it off, and I was like, maybe I should pick it up and try. I really want to try it. It'd be fun to stream it and just experience it. And, obviously watch it from afar. Had a couple friends that worked at Intrepid, and I never got to try it. So I'm a little bummed that I never at least got to play it. But, yeah, it's a really, really crazy situation. I've been keeping up with a lot of the YouTube videos and people talking about it, and, obviously a lot of the legal stuff going on. So I'm just watching. Just seeing what happens. But it sucks. I'm interested to see how it is going to ultimately affect the indie gaming sphere, particularly like MMOs. It obviously has a lot of opportunity to do some damage there with just trust, and understandably so. But it's also like, there's a weird way, and I'm hoping that it will continue, where games like Pantheon that have a smaller budget, a smaller team, just a smaller footprint, with things like Ashes in the mix, tend to be kind of disregarded as like, doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the marketing muscle, doesn't have a lot of these things. And I'm curious, and I feel like we're seeing a little bit of it so far, where when something that is seemingly as solid and well-funded and seemingly just, immovable as Ashes goes the way that it goes, that it's definitely going to cause, I don't know, suspicion and eye-raising, but it's also, I think, has the potential to make projects like Pantheon seem more legitimate, because there is, at the end of the day, something about staying power that I think should communicate something. The fact that we launched EA, we're sitting at what I think 71% rating right now. We're over a year in. Like, there's something about staying power, I think, that does over time start to prove itself out as a legitimate endeavor. So we'll see. But anyway, I don't want to ramble about it too long, but I'm definitely upset about it. I'm sad. I'm upset. Yo, Hellgear, thank you so much for the Prime, and AK for the gifted sub. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that big time. Thank you. Yeah, spring release is gonna be big. It's going to be big. Yo, Red Big, thank you so much for the tier 1. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing today. I've got 2 things planned primarily. Number 1 is I'm carved out a little bit of time today. I try to carve out a little bit of time each day to work on some of the background stuff. And what I really wanted to do today is spend some time world building and doing some composition. I want to start moving through Silent Plains a little bit, and I want to start by creating a better transition coming out of Aventur's Pass into Silent Plains. Like, I want there to be a sense of, like, this is a wildly different place. It's a wildly different place. I took... Hold on a second. I'm gonna give you guys a little teaser to start with. I'm gonna hide my screen real quick. I'll give you a little teaser to start with so you'll know kind of what I'm getting at here and what we want to, like, find a good, like, good. Well, let's just do it. Let's just do it. All right. Yeah, we're gonna do that for a little bit today, and we'll get to, you know, we'll do our usual yapping and all that, and then I'll transition to the Ranger, and we'll do some Ranger gameplay because I was really digging the Ranger and want to keep going. Thanks for the amazing answer. I love it. I'm thinking the skills and magic look cool in Ashes, but now I hope Wayward Realms makes it. Rip Julian LeFay, the Elder Scroll Fader, was a big leader for one last game. Definitely should change the colors up in the orc path then. We'll see. We'll play it. We'll kind of see how we go. See how we go. Thanks for the feedback, Isabel. Want to buy side path through to EP if you're making a harder transition. Well, we'll see. I want to, like, visually is what I'm focused on more than anything right now. And it's little things. Like, I'll show you guys kind of what I mean here. And I don't get to do as much world building. There's just a lot of other things that typically needing to be done that I need to focus on. But when I do have time, it's really fun. And it kind of, what I do like to do anyway, like when I have a whole, like, huge zone to do, I'm not as good at doing, like, massive zones. That's where, like, a true world builder, you know, who has a lot of experience doing that kind of stuff comes in and ultimately does a much better job. What I like doing is creating little, like, almost like, what's a good example? Just small little examples, small little compositional examples that people can pick up and run with. It's a little bit more my speed. So yeah, we'll do this for a bit today, and I really want to focus on this transition from Avendir's Pass. So coming out of Orc Valley here, I'm thinking about possibly doing something with this terracing as well, because this terrace in particular has always kind of bugged me, and we might be able to do something with that. I mean, ultimately, this is going to flow into the Black Rose Keep area anyway. Just remember, all of our areas, heard Bronson gave you a compliment on this. He did. He's not going to admit it. He's not going to admit it, but he did. I keep missing your streams. Glad I made it today. I am glad as well. Good to see you, Andy. No Enchanter. Skiatch. I made the mistake of playing the Ranger, and it was so fun that I do plan to go to the Enchanter, but I need to get this, like, whatever this Ranger thing is out of my system first. I can't help it. Can't help it. Got it. You're the guy who puts chairs, glasses, and wine in weird and pretty spots. Actually, no. No, I'm not that guy either. So I'm more like kind of a mid-level. And it's not even, so as the creative director, like, I don't, part of this is me going rogue a little bit from time to time, just being like, it's kind of an outlet for me that I really love and enjoy. But I've been working on some things recently that have just taken me so far away from being able to kind of do this kind of stuff for so long that I miss it. And I also am, it's been like Silent Plains has just been bothering me for a while, because it's not what it needs to be yet in terms of like the way it looks. It's such an alien environment. Like, I'll give you guys, let me see if I can find, I think this will help it make sense. Let's see. That. Oops, hold on. Okay, so yeah, especially when you look at some of these images and you see like how much these little purple flowers and things are kind of woven in, these little, rocky spikes and stuff that are in the ground. There's a level of detail that we want, that I just want to start kind of adding to a little bit. It's such a cool zone, and it's lacking some of this vibe that we need for it. So we're gonna be taking some time today to kind of like start inching towards that. Little bit of a break in more of the like game design stuff that we typically do, but it's good. It's good. At least on this channel. Yeah. No, not a world tour. Not a world tour. Oh, wait, you're not talking to me. You're talking to Black Fox. Totally off topic, but I made it out of Puerto Vallarta just in time. Yo. Nice. Yo, what's going on, Nicodemus? Hope you're having a good Monday as well. That's right. Any day is a good day to do game development. I agree. Yeah, that alien vibe. It's got kind of that alien vibe. Like, Yeah. Wait, did I say it wrong? What was it? Puerto Vallarta? Is that wrong? Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna try to make it I'm not gonna try to say it properly. No way. I can't. I can't. You know? Okay, so it looks like we got a tile right there. It's interesting. And who knows? I mean, maybe Bronson will come in here to take some pointers. You know what I mean? Come in here to get some pointers. Hopefully, I think most of you know Bronson is our lead artist, and we play a lot. He and I, we play a lot. We mess with each other quite a bit. It's all in good fun. All right. So we got. Let's see. This tells me that we are. Yeah, we're right on this weird like intersection here, like 3 different tiles coming together. Yeah, so that's that. I'm just getting a feel for my palette here real quick. There's a lot of places in here that the textures don't blend as well as I would like. There's like a real sharpness to the way they look, which makes them look a little less natural than they should. Hold on. Oh, it's pronounced Viarta. Viarta? Is that right? Or Viarta. Viarta. Okay, that makes sense. Now it's sounding familiar again. Viarta. Puerto Vallarta. Not Vallarta. All right. All right. Yo, what's up, Sid? Good to see you. Good to see you. That's exactly the same as how I feel right now, Joppa. I'm a druid at heart, but right now I'm having so much fun with the ranger. It really reminds me of EQ2. Nice. 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 Speaking of updating the amount of detail, any chance the Goblin Caves will gain some more details? Maybe that caved-in flight of stairs can lead to a new previously hidden area. Absolutely could. Absolutely could. For real. All right. Okay, I don't want to get too distracted here, though, because I do want to focus. I mean, there's a lot over there that I want to do. But I want to try and focus right now on specifically this transition. I need to get gosh, this is one really annoying thing about Unity, though. Yes, I want to activate this inspector. Yes. Let's do this. Close. Activate. Maybe that'll... Maybe that's... It just doesn't like dealing with the... having two inspectors open. I think that's probably what it was. And then we will okay. We can grass this area out a little bit. But we need, before we even do that, okay, so look, see, this is what we need to do first. We need to define our path, and we need to clear that path. Because my goodness. Just like that. It's a happy little path, guys. Happy little path. It is going to be awesome when this is all seamless. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay. Mm-hmm. The rubble. Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, if you look at, let's say, I don't know. There's not... We could definitely see it on these, on this terrace, but, you know, rubble at the bottom. Also, one of the big problems is, especially in places like this, you would typically see, you know, the terrain sloping down or like sloping up into the rock, and then you would see, yeah, like the rock scree and things like that. Starting before knowing the details as we do, but assuming Ranger Mastery goes melee versus Archer, the melee needs to be able to tank as well as a DPS warrior. Let them wear light plate, increase HP, something to increase survivability. Need some happy little trees. Yeah, Isabel, that's true. I expect that to improve substantially come like with the spring update, because it's the population having a higher population of players. You know, it's just gonna be a lot easier to find groups to do stuff with for sure. But yeah, I definitely understand that as a pain point right now, for sure. So like if we come through and we put a little, like, you know, kind of some rock around the base of this, and then we, you know, feather out some dirt from there. I'm kind of doing this in the reverse order right now, but ultimately what it needs is, That should be okay. Let's make this a little bigger. You come in here and you kind of, you bring the terrain up behind it. And then you just kind of pull it out. Pull it out. Just bear with it though, because whenever you watch things like this in progress, you can start off being like, "What is he doing? That looks terrible." But you gotta let it cook. You gotta let it cook. Pull it out. This is totally like a Bob Ross stream, you know? You pull it out a little bit like this. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say pull it out, but it's, you know, it is what it is. Just like that. And let's get this section, because this section is just as important. I want it to feel left out here. Let me get my angle right. That's good. So again, we're going to raise it up behind a little bit. And then what are we doing, chat? We're pulling it out. We're pulling it out. Mm-hmm. There we go. Pull it out. I could make this go a lot faster if I increased my brush strength a little bit. So let me do that. Now that we've got kind of our flow here. Pull it out. Mm-hmm. Now, what do we do here? What do we do now? What's next? Are we done? Is this good? No. No, it's not. No, it is not. But it is the beginning. It's the beginning of creating a much more interesting kind of situation. We'll call it a situation. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our smooth brush, our smoothing brush. Yeah. People listening to this VOD later, just listening to it. We're going to get our smoothing brush. We are going to do a very low blur radius to start with, because we really just want to tamp down the peaks so we can get a sense of like what our shape is here. I'm also, before I even do that, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the grass that's up on top of this so we can just kind of see it a little more clearly here. We want the terrain itself to be like, you know, to look good. Grass will be the next thing we do. Let's get all the grass off there. There we go. So yeah, we want to get that smoothing brush. We just want to like tamp down the peaks. And we'll be able to see like where it's looking natural and where it needs some help still. Okay. All right. I mean, it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and bump the blur radius up just a tad so we can get these like kind of divots out, these little deeper spots. But we don't want to go too hard with it because we want to leave like, main thing is you don't want the terrain to like go up and then curve back down as it reaches the rock. It really needs to like And I find the best way to do that is to actually use the set height tool. The set height tool to get kind of a reasonable reference height, and then to come into the little cavity here, pull it up. And then when you smooth, it'll be smoothing against... did I get that part? Yeah, it's not bad. It'll be smoothing against a higher point, so it won't like curl into the edge. Yeah. Just wherever that's needed. May not be needed. But yeah. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of how you do it. It's really that simple. But let's do this little spot too. And then we're gonna move back to our main focus. Okay. And then the key with this stuff is just speed. Because you can fritter away time like you would not believe doing things like this, and just, you know, it was good enough 30 minutes ago, but, you know, there's this constant when you're working on a video game, and especially if you're doing anything related to art, there is this constant tension of wanting to make things perfect and remembering that as a player, the things that you notice so much less as a player than you do as a developer. And even things that you notice as a player, they don't like really register all that strongly. Like you may notice like, oh, that tree's kind of not all the way in the ground, or I don't know, trees not being all the way in the ground bother me pretty much anytime. But there's things that you notice and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird, or that's kind of off, but it's like you don't really, it's not a game changer, you know, it's not a game breaker. It doesn't like totally pull you up out of the immersion. And so you just have to be careful, like, not to get lost in like things needing to be perfect. It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. This is just... the only thing I wish I had is like one of those, what are they called? They're called like Wacom tablets or something like that, where you can just so easily like change your brush rotation. So one thing I really hate is like having to manually change your brush rotation so much. It is annoying. There's a keybind to do it, but I've found that it's like The Unity just does not. It's very slow. It's very sluggish, very laggy, and sometimes you end up getting like hung in these lagged out loading little scenarios where it's trying to figure out what it's doing. Let's do this. I also, another thing that can really like kind of trip me up is I get really annoyed at grass rendering on like non-grass textures. It just kind of bugs me. And I have to be careful that I don't spend too much time like messing with that. I mean, it's one thing if it's like egregious and just like crazy, but it's another thing if it's just a little bit here and there. All right. Nope, not you. Not you. Okay. Yo, what's going on, Lucille? Good to see you. Nature is wiggly, indeed. Okay, so you come through this area. I'm gonna try to keep my mind focused on Silent Plains here. So when you get into this area here, when you first start seeing these guys, first of all, let's do a bigger brush. And let's get a little bit more of this darker green going. This is going to be important in a second. Okay. A little bit more of the darker green. It's good. And then, how does this, I did some recolor on the grass. How does this hold up? Does it blend better? A little better? A little better? Part of the problem is no. Need to cut down on make the AVP grass a little less thick in this area. So you kind of it starts to thin out a little bit. And then get some more of the darker green texture. Bring this all the way. Yeah. What's going on, Lubeck? Why are the planes silent? Good question. Good question. I would say that the starting point to that answer is that they have not been known as the silent planes for very long in the grand scheme of things. The biggest site of the Deicide War, the biggest kind of lore-specific location is here in the Silent Plains. This is where the final major battle was fought. And it became known as the Silent Plains because of all of the fallen, the slain peoples. Including the deities themselves. Get out of there. So again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to create this transition area between Aventur's Pass and Silent Plains in such a way that when you see it from a distance and as you approach it, that it more than it does right now feels like you are kind of crossing this border into a much more alien environment. And I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to pull that off here in a second. All this seems very like basic and inconsequential at the moment, most likely. Like these changes don't seem like super impactful. But I'm going to show you where it's really going to kind of come to life here in a second. It's a little technique that is going to get us where we need to go. Okay. Just thinning out this grass. Yep. Boop. Which one? What? So we're going to have some YouTube lore videos with the stories being written and narrated. Nothing that is uncovered in game, but stuff that we should know. Man, we have so many cool things we could do with that. We really do need to incorporate that more into our like our promotional content plan and just like stuff that I know the community would just love. We really do. Let's see. I mean, by this point, we want to kind of be like Mostly transitioned out of that grass. Easily digestible lore, yeah. Yep. Okay, let's get our context back here. It is so tricky with this, like, where these zone tiles are landing. Okay. Joppa, do you guys do like an initial environment pass and then it goes through a review on environment stuff? The devs kind of give feedback and do another pass on it back and forth until you guys are happy with the design. Is a single dev responsible for a zone, or is it more of a group effort, kind of like a game jam per zone kind of thing? I would say it's closer to a group effort than like a single dev doing a zone. We do have, from time to time, there will be more of like a I guess more of like a single dev or a couple of devs on a single zone. But I would say on the whole, like there's a lot of different people that end up touching zones, as they're kind of going through their process. So, and different people do different things. So like, it could be that there's like one main dev on zone population. There's one main dev on zone environment design, one main dev on zone narrative, things like that. So it definitely does. It depends on like what the focus is, but yeah, I would say and maybe that's what you meant. Like maybe you weren't thinking that there was like literally a single dev doing all of it, like environment, pop, quests, lore, narrative, systems, things like that. Yeah. Okay. Next thing we want to do is we want to start using these a lot more generously here. These are a very kind of like emblematic visual indicator of the Silent Plains, these little kind of rock spikes. To a degree that I'll get some different shapes in here too. That it feels very different, like not really that you've seen before, which means we need like some really ones that are much smaller. Have some that are like close to the path. So we're running up here. That's another thing to consider is like you're kind of running up from. Interesting. You do have this thorn. Technically, move this over here. Let me see it better. If this is where the last battle took place, shouldn't there be ruined castles and battlements? There are, well, yes. There is a ruins area where the main target of the last battle was hit hardest. It's the ruins of Havensong. It's kind of a sacred, just completely leveled area. And it's been turned in kind of this like sacred, almost memorial area. there are one of the things we do need to do a better job of depicting is like the impact craters, and there's meant to be here. I'll come over here and show you. There's meant to be places in here where you find a good one. I think we lost that one because it ended up becoming the wild mound. I mean, the fact that it's kind of like, here we go. This is what I was looking for. This right here. But the thing about this is that this is actually supposed to have, like more of a charred texture. And which I'm assuming that's probably just more of the rock. But then there's actually supposed to be these still burning flames, these flames that just like don't go out. In these places. So you can imagine like, let's see. That's actually not the right one. Anyway, what is this? Oh, there's the trebuchet. Okay. But there's the battle that took place. A lot of it was from the Revenant, which you know, I might as well say any word there because a lot of you don't really know anything about the Revenant. But these like battle scars from that fight and these kind of still burning black flame will be part of this zone eventually. Need an Underdark. Yeah. I mean, granted, it's been a long time. I mean, it's been, what, 400 or 500 years since then, so a lot of it has regrown and healed, but having some of these, like, little trenches and these trebuchets, some of these, like, little outposts, and there's a few more things that we want to do in here to, like, point to that Revenant presence. Okay. All right, so let's keep going with these. We might do a few more coming down the path. Some really small ones. So how many of you guys think you would enjoy doing things like this? World building and stuff. When you think of like game development, are you like, this is my jam, like this is what I would love to do? Mm-hmm. It is, I would say it is as fun as it looks, like, you know, assuming that it reads as being fun. It's a very creative, very interesting thing to do. And of course, like most things, you know, it's part of what you have to do in game development is you have to move quickly. Like you have to I remember learning this early on in audio when I was first learning Pro Tools and was starting to get a sense of like, you know, people that get jobs as engineers and whatnot. You know, one of the reasons, like, you can be a great engineer, but being fast and being organized is like such a big part of it. Like that's what a lot of people are really looking for is like, are you good? Yeah. Like, can you make good edits? Or, you know, do you have a good ear? All that stuff. But are you fast? You know? All right. Let's do, again, just trying to rough in here the, grass in. Okay. And just so you guys know, it may not need to be said, but I am going to. There's a limit to what I'm going to do on stream versus, you know, what I'm going to come back in and clean up and tweak later. I'm not about to sit here and like finesse all this stuff. I just want to get some broad strokes in play. A lot of that grass. Okay. Now, the other thing I think would be good to do, we've got a little bit of a thorn here, but I want to actually let's do one of the spikes. So kind of like a hero piece version of these little rocks that are coming up out of the ground. These thorn shards are really cool to kind of come in as a, oh, this is a very different, you know, kind of rock that I'm used to seeing. We just want to kind of like, let's see, we got spike 3. What was that? That was same thing. Spike 2. There we go. It's got a little bit of a curl in it. Perfect. Put this one by the road. Spike 1. Oh, nice. That's a biggie. So you're coming up through here. Yeah. And that's cool because we can definitely leverage this guy. And honestly, let me think. Here's where the magic comes in. This is the stuff that really, really, really sells Silent Plains as being kind of this alien-like area. Let me do... Let's lock that window. So we're going to come here and we're going to paint around this thorn. Doesn't like this texture on that tile. I mean, honestly, we don't really need... We don't need that, do we? Dude, Unity is like chugging for some reason. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough because we just want the smallest little hint when you're far away, when you're kind of approaching. And the cool thing about those is, so for example, let's actually save it. Maybe the entrance spikes had a little more curve at the immediate start of the zone. It would maybe look like... Yeah, we can definitely try that, actually. Create like a little... Almost like a little... Yeah, that's what you're saying. We can try that. I want to get the... I want to run this for a sec. Let's bring our player down here. Just want to run this on foot real quick. Yes, we do plan to have visual signposts, yes. That's a cool idea. Exclusive. That's a cool idea. The idea of them being like impaled. Is this man making rocks? I'm not making rocks. I don't make the Legos. I don't make the Legos. I enjoy building with the Legos. I do not make them. Yeah. What's going on, Dennis? Good to see you. Pygmalion, good to see you. You could do that the whole day? Yeah. It's fun. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you do got to be careful because you can like, speaking from experience, you can zone out and lose a lot of time. Just... finessing. Just finessing. Yeah. So excited for Pantheon. Glad to see you today. It is awesome to see you as well. The stars. I'm glad you're excited. Very glad. Okay, fine. Is this man playing Legos with rocks? Yes. Yes, I am. Orchidian, thank you so much for the Prime. Appreciate that. I am super late. Good to catch a stream again. It is good to have you, my friend. Welcome. Welcome. Or is this Duplo since rocks are bigger than Legos? I mean, yeah, you could probably think of it as playing with Duplo blocks. That's fair. That's fair. Dead orcs on the ground? I like that. Yeah, I think that would actually work pretty well in this area. I think Unity has... I don't know. I can't decide if Unity... It's trying so hard. I know that. It's trying really hard. Hey, Play Twisted, good to see you. Christopher Mills, I like dungeons. Me too. Me too. I work as IT senior support, so I need to be fast and precise. I bet. I bet you do. Oh, yeah. Is this model placement SP? Yep, we're doing kind of a composition, creating kind of a composition reference case for how we want to, as we, do second and third art passes on zones, some of them to kind of, fully flesh them out. This is about getting Silent Plains where we want it to be. Okay, let me try something real quick. I mean, it is like Unity is tweaking. Come on, Unity. All right, I'm just gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it and restart it. At what point do you have to put a limit on detail in the world versus performance? We have done a lot to increase our ceiling on that. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of optimization work, and Kyle has, our lead programmer, has done a ton to give us more headroom for more detail. Because that we've always wanted to have a higher degree of detail in the world, be able to support that. Because we want to do a lot of like visual storytelling. We want to do a lot of interactables. So we really wanted to support that. So it's tough to quantify like exactly what that is, like for us specifically. But you can look at some of the zones that we have, like Black Rose Keep, for example, where we've really pushed the density of detail both in the keep itself and down in the chasm pretty extensively. What's going on, Rinlinks? If gods died in the zone, shouldn't there be memorials? There are some. Some that are currently like depicted, or at least kind of the framework of the depiction, and some that we've yet to build. But they're not. The Deicide War, you saw a lot of different deities that were not kind of like the prime or the major deities. And you saw a lot of them from, the Pantheon of some of the races that weren't really like known or loved by those races. And in the context of the Deicide War, the deities, a lot of the deities that fell, that were slain and able to be slain because they gave up their celestial position to become mortal, and in doing so died. But they did so to, the majority of them side with the force that was looking to wipe everything out. And so there wasn't a whole lot of love lost there, you should say. But all that being said, yes, there will be some memorialization for sure. Let's see. try one more time here, guys. One more time. Still have Veronic working hard? I do. I do. Are there rocks with moss on them? Your rocks are a little too clean. Yeah, they do have moss on them. The moss is built into the texture. We don't have a shader that actually draws like moss on top of the rocks. But it's something that we're exploring. We used to have one, but man, it was not very performant. So I can turn on spell effects during... Oh, tell Daedrus. I don't know. Can you? Can you? I don't know. I don't know. You should make one of the raid dungeon entrances through the decayed skull of a fallen avatar. Ah. Well, I know Rainborn, the Rainborn dragons, Broken Maw has actually built the entrance of Broken Maw as the gaping skull of a Rainborn dragon, which are close to being on par to the Celestials, yeah. I don't I don't think I could I think the reason that Burnt Peanut works well, like what he does translates so well, is because he's a peanut and he can be super expressive through his mouth and eyes, whereas if he was just a dude like me on the camera, I don't think it would translate as well. I think if I had something similar where I could be more emotive and be more of a character, I think it could come across pretty well. I think when you have that talk with Armagon, it should be in Pantheon while playing. I think you're right. We were going to meet this week and do our stream together this week. But he asked for it to be on a Thursday, and it's like the one day this week that I can't do it because I've got something with my son at his school. It's like a special event. So we're moving it to next week. So it should be next Thursday, a week from this Thursday. If I was a VTuber, what form would I take? That's a good question. I definitely think if I was ever to do something like VTubing, it would absolutely be something like what Bird Peanut has done. I would not want to be like a whole different like avatar of like a articulating, different looking person or like an anime character or anything like that. I would want to be, I don't know, something silly. But I don't know what that would be. Like a shovel. Oh yeah, like a still picture, but then like have the eyes and mouth cut out. So just be a picture of me, but with eyes and mouth that are also mine, but those are the only thing animating. That could be interesting. I could be the crazy horse's tail. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea. All right. Unity always likes to do this when I'm live. It's like, oh, you're live. Let's not work. Let's get hung up. Let's lag. Let's do everything we can to make this as slow of an experience as possible. So I'm gonna try something a little different. A little different. A gelatinous cube. Ooh. A beanie. That could work. That could work. Yeah, I could see that. Just a beanie. No, not googly. It would have to be my own eyes. Which the glasses would be a problem. Maybe the beanie could have glasses. But I'd probably have to wear contacts. Yeah. Yeah. But that's fine. The only streamer that should be a beanie is Co. Yeah, well, see, that's because a lot of you that aren't used to watching this stream don't think of me as having a beanie, because there's a lot of people that are watching the stream that have just started watching in like the last couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I haven't been able to find my beanie. So yeah, I don't blame you for not thinking of a beanie when you think of me. It's too bad. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah. I have a problem with hats. I have a problem with hats. I mean, you guys are going to think I'm making this up, but I'm telling you the truth. I left my house this morning to drive my kids into school, and I have this green hat that I've worn a few times. It's like more of like a conductor's kind of hat. And I was like, I'm going to wear this for the stream today. And I was excited about it. Got home. I helped my wife bring in some groceries. Came downstairs. Got to work. Came to be about stream time. Went to put on a different shirt. Went to go put on my hat. And it's gone. I don't know where it is. So it's a thing. I thought it might be in the car as well, and I asked her, hey, because she took the car that I drove this morning, and it's like, hey, do you see my hat in there? Nope, it's not in here. Okay. So, did I look over there? I've looked everywhere. I've looked everywhere that it could be. I've looked every single place that I went. Just in the house, since being home, you know. I don't know. I do not know. So what happens if I do? Hold on, let me check this real quick. Let me check this. I think it's coming down to the fact that there's our little offline player that used to kind of run around and check things. It doesn't really like it when there's multiple scenes loaded. Doesn't like that at all. So I'm going to try now just moving back to a single scene. And then we're going to see if it likes this better. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Nope, it's not in the clothes pile. It's not in the fridge. It's not, anywhere. But then inevitably it'll show up, That's the thing. Like they never are truly lost. They always do show up, but it's like, I don't know. Just the fact that I would lose it that quickly and that thoroughly is just, it's wild. All right. Here we go. Now we're going to try it with just a single scene loaded. I expect it to go well. Oh, you think it's the hide helmet toggle? It may be. I listen to your VODs while I play Project Gorgon after work. Nice. That's cool. Love that. Love that. I'm ready for the free copy of Pantheon giveaway. Did I miss the part where you give all of us a free copy of Pantheon? I do want to. I meant to do this actually. To see if we could procure a giveaway sometime soon. I think it'd be really fun. Okay, I think this is working now. So let's move you here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. So these guys here are really the things that are going to like really change the vibe, especially at night, because they have this beautiful glow. And what I'm about to show you here, we're gonna actually do this in real time, and you'll see what I mean. See what I mean? Loud footsteps? Okay. You see the moss now? Yeah. Yeah. The night glow thing is really nice because when you get them in kind of like a critical mass, and that's the cool thing about these, is so because we have these set up as details, we can do this cool little thing. Where, hold on, that's a little much. Sometimes you gotta, like, you know, it does become kind of like a little composition decision here where you're like, okay, that's a little clumped. Let's do this. Let's take one of those out. And then what you do is you kind of develop this little language around these guys where it's like, okay, Silent Plains has this interesting little situation going on with these little rock teeth that kind of come up out of the ground. And one of the ways to really kind of lean into that and then have this cool, like, vibe, this cool alien vibe when you transition to this new area is to be greeted with a lot of that. And then as we get this more and more dialed in, you've got this really cool, like, well, you'll see. You will see. Is there anything dangerous about the purple flowers? No. No. You're scared? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Yet. Don't be scared yet. But the cool thing about these is since they're detail meshes, they don't, like, performance-wise, they're almost like free. But you start to create this whole kind of like vibe and biome that really comes to life and feels super unique. And we have these in a few places, but we don't have them like, really, really dialed in and locked in. Now, composition wise, like, this is cool, but this is a little much. Like, I'll come back in and prune this out a little bit because it's not about like overwhelming you with it, but having certain pockets and places in the zone that do have quite a bit of density is really cool. And being able to like put these on top of the thorns and, kind of use these as your like, I don't know, kind of like your biome stamp. Hold on. I don't know where, like, why is that sound even, why are you guys even hearing that? There. Has the Night Skybox got any love? It is definitely not as low res as it was. So, yeah, it's improved in that regard. For sure. It's got some... Yeah. Footsteps gone. Immersion ruined. Pack it up. Yeah. So anyway, that's probably all we're going to do today on world building. Like, I wanted to do two things. Number one, say, hey, it's time to start getting Silent Plains a little bit more dialed in, a little bit more locked in, because it's a really cool zone. And it's just missing that hook. It's missing that visual hook, I feel like, because it's a very large, expansive zone. And you can spend a lot of time running through it and not really, hit anything super interesting. But I wanted to just give you guys a little bit of heads up about where we're going with it. And I think going this route is going to allow us to also come back through and create a few more kind of bespoke camp spots. Both with things like, I don't know, animals, but also there's a couple of other like more humanoid NPC types that we want to get in here. And I like that process of going through a zone and really like honing some of the environmental areas that can be like cool spots, cool spots to find. Now the stream's not over. Some of you are acting like I'm about to shut the stream off. No. No, we are going to be done with this section of the stream. And I'll give you guys some updates, as we go along. Next stream, I'll show you kind of, what I've done here and where I've been able to get to. What we're going to do now is we're going to play some Ranger. Because, it's time. It is time. So let's save this. I'm so freaking excited about you guys seeing Nightfall Crypt, by the way. Oh my goodness. It's shaping up to be something something really special. Wow. Okay. Here we go. Also, as we're transitioning here, I had a question. Oh, we could talk about instancing a little bit too. I know that's come up a little bit. Something is making me want to do a Pantheon hardcore run. And I need to know who wants to do it with me. Well, this is assuming that I don't like I have to avoid falling off rocks. You know? Cliffs. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what to say. That's on me. That one was on me. Let me get in game here and then we'll get things back. For those of you who are like dozing, I'm sorry. Woo. All right. No dozing, by the way. Okay. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, here we go. How is this volume? Oh, the... Ooh. Better? I got a lot of headroom. I can keep pumping it up. So if more is better, then you know. That's the thing though, like the sound effects might be too loud, so find a good balance. I'm gonna drop the sound effects just a smidge, just a wee smidge. Yeah, that's what I was feeling too. Ooh, yeah, that storm is really nice. Windstrider, cool. Okay, let's take stock here. Level 7. I think I'm up to date ability wise. Got 17 silver. For a split second there, for whatever reason, when I was running around, when I started running just then, I thought I was dual wielding Mino axes. I don't know why. And it was important that you guys knew that. So, there it is. Tiny Travis! Let's get the trade action going here. Need to keep my foraging up. Dude, I don't know what it is about this class right now, but it is like speaking to my soul. You ever have that happen where you're playing an MMO and you like when it happened just then when I remembered forage and I was like, I can be foraging right now while I'm doing all this other stuff and building up my like supply of things that I'm going to need later. And it was just like this moment, this like prick of joy, of excitement. You know? All right, so Moonrose Balm, Fractal. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm good up to level 8 though. Let's go ahead and get this. Moonrose Balm, create a balm that increases your natural health regen. Yep. Okay, that's level 10. Ooh. Oh yeah, we get our nuke at level 10. That's cool. And engage and withdraw. Wait. Okay, I overspent because, okay. We need to get withdraw. Soon. All right, where do we want to go at level 7? What do we want to do? Azul. Adadun. Any chance Rangers could have a special bag for foraged items? Doesn't feel great at 30 having a whole bag filled with them. That's fair. I'm gonna die. Okay. 500 slot forage bag. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's group up. What are we getting into? Thank you. Thank you. Are we doing this? Chad, I think we might be doing this. Oh, this guy. Okay. I'm getting the feeling that this guy does not know. He doesn't know. I don't think he knew. I think this guy may be a new player. Yeah, hardcore runs over. Not on this character. We're not doing it on this character. No. 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 Well, maybe the character's not new, maybe the account's not new, maybe he just forgot. Maybe he just forgot. What we're gonna do, I think, after we get our corpse, is we're gonna go over to the Lars camp. And, we're gonna see if we can get... There's a bow that drops there. And some other goodies. So that's what we're gonna do. I've actually been really curious to see how the Ranger heal over time feels. So that's something that... Like, I have loved designing the Ranger from, like, a distance. Like, just kind of on-paper implementation, you know. Like, I've enjoyed reading all the feedback, and I feel like I'm getting some good vibes and a good sense. But I've really been eager to actually get in and play this class, because there's such interesting things that I want to do with it. Especially this dynamic of, like, moving in and out seamlessly. Should you choose to. But also, like... The, sorry. I'm sorry to be like, this is totally out of left field, but I want to actually, while we've got this up, I want to get on the internal dev server where we don't have IK enabled, and I want to just do a quick comparison of the run animation. We're gonna do that real quick. Hey Joppa, with the spring update and combat updates, will Rangers be able to transition to a full bow range build with mastery points? Yes. Yes, if your power fantasy with your Ranger is to be an archer, full bow, you will absolutely be able to do that. Yep. I heard that next week's patch was pushed out to March. What was broke that you had to push it out an extra week? There are two major issues that we're fixing. The first one is related to the new saved loadouts, where you can save up to 4 different ability loadouts. We're having an issue with that. And if we don't fix it, then it'll be like rolling it out, but then saying like, hey, you know, don't use this. So we need to get that fixed. The other one is with like some of the mastery code that's been going in, and some of the, again, the loadouts. There's an issue with the spellbook right now where scribing a new ability, you will learn it, but you won't actually see it in your spellbook. So we got to fix that and kind of make sure to watertight that. So those are the two main things. There's a couple of other nav mesh issues we're having with Nightfall that we want to get short away to. Or short up, I should say. Yo, Zace. Thank you so much for the prime. Sometimes you have your melee weapons wielded like a bow. Yes, I know. And it drives me crazy. And sometimes you have your bow out and an arrow sticking out of your fist, which also drives me crazy. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. What secrets will the chair reveal today? Good question. Good question. What do you call a fish with no eyes? A fish. Thank you, Lone Dog. Mm-hmm. Okay. So am I tripping? Maybe I might be tripping. I don't know. I think it looks better to me. I took some time yesterday and split up the summoner spell vendors into 10 level increments. Because the spell lists were getting insane. So, there you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, anyway. It's probably just me. It's probably just me, guys. So, you know. Is what it is. You will have to go to Skydurban, and we're going to put this in the patch notes, so, you know, it's something that we'll reiterate. But, yeah, so you'll have, yes, the spells will be different. The spells available to you will be different depending on where you're at. So you'll have, like, 1 through 20, so you'll have the first 2 spell vendors in your starting area. Dimith will have the first 3, so they'll have 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 21 through 30. And then your 30 plus spells will be either in your Eastern Plains and the Port of Rulan are where you'll get the up through 40. You'll be able to go up through 40. And then the level 40 to 50 spells are in Skydurban only, so you'll have to go to Skydurban to get those. But one of the things that I want to do with, like, the Silent Plains world building pass is I actually want to, like, build an actual landing for the lift into Skydurban. Make that a little bit more of, like, a cool, I don't know, feel a little bit more like built. Yeah. Look better on the test version? Okay. I thought so. And the good news is, shouldn't have any more of that leg jittering and some of that weird stuff. Dennis, come spring. That's the big thing for spring. Summoner got a little bit of an early like head start on their refresh and kind of fleshing them out up to 50, but that'll be the case for all classes come spring. Okay, it's just 2 damage. Not an upgrade, unfortunately. But that is fine. The recruits. Let's hop down. We need to actually go down. Will there be any loot-only abilities and spells? Yes. Yes, there will. Any plans to make Engage Withdrawal more usable in dungeons? Maybe a 2-click system where you can control how far back you jump? Like a charge, you mean? Like if withdraw specifically was a charged ability, where the longer you held it, the farther back you went? That would be bad. I think some of it in dungeons is really just like being, you know, kind of like when if you're going to be getting knocked back or something, you want to position yourself. I know it's kind of a bummer for rangers because they, you know, you're kind of at the mercy of your tank and like the positioning of the NPC and all that, and it can be a pain. But, what happened to Lars? Like what? Tofunk. Oh, Tofunk, you're dead. Bro. Hey, the bowyer. Yo. Hello? Okay. This is feeling very strange. Something's definitely going on here with the, Wait, is this... Why is nobody else mentioning... Is it just me that's lagging? Ow. Let's see if we can just, you know. We have Windstrider, so... What is this? Oh, sick. Oh, yeah, we're good then. We're chilling. We're chilling. Like the opposite of a charge, hit it once to start now and again to disrupt the animation. I think, I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm a little bit hesitant to change the dynamics to something more complicated. I think the main thing we need to do with withdraw is, you know, fix the issue where it gets stuck on like a pebble, or if there's any like elevation change at all, it breaks. And at that point, I think it's more just about like, I don't know, like just managing your distance, you know? I don't know. Now, granted, we haven't done like a lot of passes on withdraw, engage, things like that to kind of, you know, dial in. Like maybe the base distance is too far. I had to stretch my legs. I forgot that those guys could backstab. Oh boy. You got tired of my cat and mouse games? Yeah. Well, you know what? All right. Yo, Dougbug, thank you so much for the tier 1, my friend. Appreciate that. Good day to you as well. The real Ranger experience. I mean, to be fair, that backstab was a little insane. What was that? Hitting me for 6, 3, 7, 6, 69. Just an instant. Bowyer's all the way down there, man. Oh man. Yeah, that's not happening. I can't take those guys. So we're gonna, you know, gonna humble ourselves here a little bit. Get back down to something reasonable. I wonder, is it worth... Is it worth... Hold on. Let me look this up. Let me look this up real quick. Okay, what bow do we have? We have a brittle short bow, 3 damage. Okay. The Forgotten Bowman would be sick if we could find the Forgotten Bowman. I don't remember where he spawns, though. He's on like a super long routine, I know that. Yeah, the ivory-handled shortbow, that's what I want. Okay. I mean, it's not like I can track or anything. This was a mistake. I'm dead. Let's go see if we can find the Forgotten Bowman. I'm sure he's been killed, though. If he's up. Oh, yeah, I can't do my little... Yeah, we're dead. We're dead, right? Oh, he's level 15. Okay. Traverse MVP. Yeah, I know. I just need a few more levels. Who wants to? Let's just get a group together. A little low-level group, huh? You think doing mastery for all the classes by spring is a smidge too ambitious? No, no, I do not. No, I do not. We're gonna get it done. Jay Tall, thank you so much. Appreciate the prime sub, my friend, and the 4 months of response. I played a ton of Ranger. It's fun to forge or whatever needs a helping hand. It does. It does. It needs to be a more exciting button to push. There needs to be cooler stuff in it to get. You know. Oh, we got Glorf. Who else? Did somebody else come by? Let's do a small group. Let's do. We can do gobbies at this level, right? Tarepa. Nope, 11 Necro's perfectly fine. Somebody's giving away weapons. Hey! Nice. Sick. Dude, that's cool. 3 damage. Up to 9. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, sick. Not a... No. 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 Dev hacks. Let's test it out on this bear. There's a bear. Woo! Cool. Oh, you've got a Blade of Carnage. That'll do it. That'll do. So let's see. Let's actually, is anybody looking for group around this level? Let's see. Oops. Level 8 Summoner. Level 7 Warrior. Let's go ahead and invite Boosh. We got Boosh and Tarnok, Rogue and Summoner. Any lower level healers looking for group for Gabi Cave. Level 8 to 12. Goes for you too, chat. Any of you want to hop in on this? We've got somebody around that level. What do we see as the function of the class trainers? Right now, they seem to do nothing. The class trainers, come spring, are actually going to be important for skill upkeep, because you're going to be able to train skills at the class trainer for coin. And because of the changes that we're making to skill ups and like the time and the investment that it takes to get your skills up, they're going to be pretty important. What is going on? Is nobody else seeing this? Is this just a me thing? If it is, I'm going to relog. I think all of Unity's shenanigans were probably messing with my memory. I'm going to relog real quick. Yo, AK, take care. Thanks for hanging out, man. Hobgoblin's up on the cliff near Drog. You can solo there, I think, as Ranger. Okay. I want to check that out. At some point. Oh, wait. Let me just actually get all the way out here. All the way out. Here we go. Let's see if the cave has returned. Returned. Ah, yes. Yes, indeed. We're back in business. All right, Glorf. I'm ready for my invite. Any chance we can get forage and track on separate buttons, like stances, since they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Yes. And that's one of the things we're going to be doing with the general bar. So on the general bar, you'll be able to put things like forage and track. You won't be taking up utility slots with those. Yep. Glorf, I made you leader, so invite me when you can. And then I've seen that as well. Logging out caused my character to get stuck for a while and couldn't log back, so maybe server related. Yeah, it could be. I know when you need to invite me on Glorf, on the other Glorf. Dude, Tarnok is such a cool dwarf name. Okay, we have our Necro coming. What was Necro's name again? Need a spot for a healer. Or wait. Oh, Glorf! Yeah. We need to get Thorn when they arrive, and then we need to save a spot for a healer, so we'll have to... Yeah, we'll have to put Roy Kent on the wait list. Dangle Wangle. I'm sure those missing tents would be back now, yeah. Whatever Unity was doing earlier, it was, yeah, not happy. Not happy. Okay. It's very rare that it's hard to find a healer. Healers are one of the most abundant and common Healer? Healer? No healer. Looking for one more. Need healer for Gabi Caves, level 8 to 12. What's going on, Yaz? Good to see you. If only I wasn't busy, I would bring my druid Stanky Leg. That sounds like an epic name right there. That must be an epic druid. Stanky Leg. Yes. Yes. There's just not many healers on right now. Do we want to just... I mean, we can always just see how it goes. You know? I mean, I could heal, I guess. Dad, it would be really hard to put like a percent on it. I wouldn't even know how to answer that. I mean, it's it's not like we're moving from like one class to the next and like fully finishing each one. So we're at whatever percentage we are for that class. It's more of kind of fleshing them all out to various degrees, like incrementally. So I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'm sure it would be helpful for you guys though to quantify that, and I'll try to do that soon. Keep you guys posted as we move along. From a tech side of things, has there been any thought to a single world for NA with different ingest routes to promote east versus west latency? Curious if that may be a better setup for EA. It would be a much better setup, I think. It's going to come down to... it's really a decision for our tech team and our tech director to make. Though I and others have been advocating for like a single server, kind of for EA, there being like a single server, not worldwide, but have like a single like NA server, and then like a single, you know, EU server and a single Oceanic server. Who is this? Oh, Ogre Warrior. Okay. I mean, you know. No, Admagar's a warrior. Admogre. Oh, we got a level 10 cleric in Wild's End if someone wants to go pick him up. Dude, it'd be so tempting to do Ronin next. Not gonna lie. It would be very tempting. Do we want to pick up Yazra in Wild's End? No, but we can come pick you up, Yaz. And by we, I mean... I'm going to ask Glorf nicely. If he would please. I can't read. That's too much to ask Glorf to read stream chat. What are you talking about? No way. Can't. Let's be at least a little bit realistic. If you, Yaz, if you could hop on your cleric, that would be huge. We would definitely take the cleric, and then it's going to be a lot easier to fill a different slot, a non-healer slot. Oh wait. Oh, look at all these. Well, 13 is probably a little high. Yeah, we'll pick up Yas. We good, but we do need one more. I guess we could give it to, what was the name of the mage that came? The summoner that came earlier? No, we got you, Yaz. We're gonna come get you. Are you in game right now on Yazra? Quick, someone call Dangle Wangle. Okay. We're full with Yaz? Okay, perfect. Then yeah, we should be good. Now, guys, I'm letting you know right now. Hold your breath. Hold on to your butts. I know this is crazy. I've got an hour and a few minutes because I have a hard stop for an important meeting. So, letting you know now. So there's no surprises when the time comes. Not that I've ever, like, you know. You can look for skellies while you wait? Yeah. Well, you know what? We could go on a quick little skelly hunt, huh? Once again, I've been playing with my graphics at like half mast, which is always nice. Okay. A skeletal protector. Let's go ahead. We don't need any of that action. Yes, druids are going to get a lesser form of tracking, yes. Yes, they shall. Is wind a part of the environment system to see the grass and trees move? Yeah, it's, yes. Oh, it's probably picking it up from way over there. Yazra's in zone, okay. Let's head back. Yes, in fact, only relatively recently has the wind system stopped. We're making some optimizations on the shader side, and that'll be coming back soon. But yeah, you'll see the grass and the trees and stuff moving in the wind again, and even more dynamically, because we want wind to actually be more of kind of a living system in the game, that whether you're sailing or gliding or things like that, that you'd be able to interact with wind. All right, guys. Like I said, this is kind of a little twink character, so I'm not. I am not. I'm okay. Like I don't want to like trink like crazy. Thank you so much, by the way. Who was that? Who was that? Ah. Yes, gliding. Wait, Briar, you didn't know that? Oh my. I didn't find anything useful. Will Titan be in the summer update March 4th, or is Titan still slated as obtained via mastery? Titan will come back in the spring. Titan will come back in the spring update. Look at the little guy. You'll be back, little guy. You'll be back. Ronan is just a solo warrior. Ah, is it thou? Is it now? I like thinking of the Ronin as a glass cannon melee class with tools to manage their give them some like avoidance prowess and stuff. All right, guys, we're ready. Let's do this. It's time for the power hour. Will Titan look like Arnold since he'll be back? Can't wait for Bard. Oh man, I can't wait for Bard. Imagine just sitting here chilling, playing the lute. Whew. It's gonna be good. Oh, Glorf! Look at the absolute shreddage. This bow's sick. It's nice and fast. Let's switch these. Yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah, quivers. Quivers are going to make it all the cooler. Oh yeah. Feels great. Ooh. Not bad. I kind of like the quiver, like on the lower back, like hanging kind of angled across on the lower back. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? On the side? Yeah, the side's cool too. Yeah, but you know, Be that as it may, it's cool. Back quivers are cool. The cave's depth is felt already in the echo of distant shrieks. Yes. Wait, I need a ranger vantage. Here we go. See that? Shooting right through the rocks. Here it comes. This is obviously a collider. There we go. Shoot right around the edge here. Ooh, cooked. Oh man, this is fun. Like, this is... I've gone from, like, tanking while streaming and healing while streaming. This is, like... You know? This is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Actually getting some loot, you know? Ow. I'm just gonna go ahead and DPS through pressure plate, it's fine. It's all good. Ronin, isn't that like the name definition of a warrior without master in Japan feudal era? If I recall, like year 1700, samurai-ish? Yes. And if you romanticize it a little bit and you think of, yes, Ronin is like these real edgy kind of like elite samurais that kind of live on the fringe, but are like feared and somewhat infamous. That's a Ronin. Ooh. Ranger perch. Get on the ranger perch. Like a hawk. Yeah, don't slip. That's right. You would not want to slip in that situation, for sure. I've noticed a lot of people asking, by the way, about climbing and like how they don't like that they automatically latch onto things. And I just want to show you in the settings window. You go to cogwheel settings. If you go to the very top here, you go to the top. Only climb when climb key is held. If you click that, then that will keep you from climbing unless you hold shift. You can run against surfaces all you want. You won't climb it until you hold shift, and then you'll latch on. I'm interested to learn more about the no weapon bard, two-handed instrumentation and singing. Very intriguing. I'm glad you are intrigued. Yeah, yeah, I think Aragorn-ish, like Aragorn-like, would definitely be a good way to think of it. Oh, we gotta re-invite Tarnok. And by we, I mean me. Sorry, Tarnok. Goodness. Yeah, ninja class would be cool. But I think we'll be able to kind of like cover a lot of that with the monk. Because when you think of like the mastery branch for the monk, that's like an avoidance tank. There's actually a lot that we're going to be able to do there with some of that ninja-esque vibe. So we'll see. We'll see if there's room, you know, at any point. 'Cause, I mean, that's the thing. I've talked about this before with like brand new classes after your launch roster. Like they really need to be truly distinct, you know? They really need to bring a totally different vibe, totally different approach. And if it's too much like something else that you've got already, then I don't know, I think it's like a missed opportunity. Which is why, you know, it would be easy for Ronin to not be a good choice depending on, you know, how you design it. Fox in the hen house. What is this? Ah, yes. Hit rating. Cool. My favorite Thanksgiving meal. A fresh fox in the hen house. I do think Berserkers are super cool as well. Berserker could be a cool vibe. But is that like... Berserkers are tough to do, though. Like, depending on what kind of Berserker you're thinking of. Like, if it's the kind of Berserker where you're balancing, like, a low health, like a sustained low health, or you're kind of incentivized to dip your health down low to do more damage. Oh. Ding! Yeah. The tough part about Berserker is that specific aspect of the design where you have to design around being and staying low health. So it's like glass cannon, yes, but ooh. Glass cannon, yes, but you can't. So you have to take hits, but you can't take too many hits or you die because you're already at low health and you're trying to stay at low health. So it's like, what kind of mechanics do you design around the ability to get low health and stay low health while avoiding like one-shots? It's tricky. I agree, engineer classes would be cool. You saw the EQ Necro as a risk versus reward class? You mean just do like the Lich line? Blood Mage. I think Blood Mage is actually our most requested class. Hands down. And I'm really, really tempted to... I don't know. Spellblade is coming, so Spellblade's going to be a branch of the wizard class, so Spellblade will be a thing. I don't think it's enough to design a whole new class around. I think it's going to fit really nice just as an expression of the wizard and kind of a pretty significant alteration of the wizard. Spellblade will definitely be one of the more significant transformations that comes through Mastery. Because it's just such a different vibe. And the other thing that I'm kind of processing through currently with the design team is the whether we would want to pursue, because we need more healers. We need more healers, and most MMOs benefit from having, you know, more healer types. Which is one reason why we ended up opting for the Paladin healer for their other mastery branch. But you know, we have the option with Blood Mage being such a popular class. We have the option of creating a Blood Mage class. Or we could do that as kind of the Necromancer secondary branch. Because the whole thing about the Necromancer is, from the beginning, they were, you know, the original design for them was I wanted them to kind of fit more of a support role in Pantheon. Like a selfish support role, specializing in like crowd control and, you know, limited support, but with high like DPS potential. So the fact that they have those kind of like support-based roots, like in the class's like design from the beginning, I think seeing them branch further into like a healer support with like a Blood Mage vibe would be totally doable. And it's cool to me because it's similar to like a CC rogue, where it's like it's specifically being able to do the role in the form and the feel of a particular class. So it's like you have CC and you're used to seeing like casted CC with enchanters and things like bards, but you know, to be this like sneaky subtlety, like assassinating kind of like rogue vibe and be like a dedicated CC role, I think is super cool. And same with Necro. I think Necro provides this really interesting angle for healing, and we can do a lot of really cool things. And I think honestly the Blood Mage playstyle fits really well with that. So, yeah. Yeah, visibility. And then the other Necro would be more of kind of your like straight up DPS Necro. DPS and pet focused Necro. With some shared in between, because obviously pets are going to play a big part in their CC role as well. But if you want a Necromancer that, you know, is focused more on their pets as like damaging, like DPS related, then you would have that branch. Whereas if you wanted, you know, if your pets were going to be more like CC support related, then you'd have the other branch. So anyway, it's like I said, it's just something we're considering, because there is definitely like room for like Blood Mage is one of those classes that's like, yeah, you could totally make a new class out of that. And that would be a very worthy, you know, full class. But yeah. Yeah. Need loot for spells. Well, Finn, it would be, so if we did that, and I was saying that it's something that, which is something we're considering right now, because the Blood Mage heal style would actually work really well for the Necromancer, but if we did that, you would see their support, control, and healing in that branch, and you would see more of the true, like, DPS Necro in the other branch. So you would definitely still have that option. Blood Mage was a crazy class. I mean, that's like, that combination is what a lot of MMO class designs intentionally stay away from, because it's so powerful. Like, when you can deal damage and heal, that's like the forbidden combo, you know? It can be really hard to balance. With Mastery, is there a respec system, or are the choices permanent? There is going to be a respec system, yeah. We don't want it to be, it's not going to be a dual spec thing where you can, like, lock in 2 totally different specs and then just switch on the fly. You will have to commit to a spec, but you can respec that at certain, like, specific NPCs in town for a scaling cost. The plan right now is for the cost to scale based on how large the respec is. So if you've got like a fully filled out mastery with, like, you know, every single point, and then you want to respec that, that's going to be a lot more expensive than, you know, if you're like 10 or 20 points in and you want to respec. Isn't blending support and heals in one spec a bit OP? It can be if you also provide a lot of offensive options for that same class. So it would be one of those situations where a Necromancer Blood Mage, you know, if we did go that route for healer, we'd probably have to be pretty lean on the support side. So you'd be kind of exchanging the support, some of the support that we had originally intended for Necro, for the sake of, like, going more full heal. So yeah, it definitely can be, but again, like, that still tracks pretty well, because, you know, ultimately we want to avoid having an overabundance of buffs, and making sure the buffs that different classes bring feel meaningful. And so if we go that route, reducing some of the buffs on of the support buffs on Necro wouldn't be a terrible thing. Tyreal, what do you said why? What are you asking why about? Continuing to trigger everybody by not using the take all button. I know. Sorry. Don't bend with the bear tallow. Oh, so bear tallow is important. Oh, why make it harder to respec? Well, if by harder to respec you mean just like more expensive, I think that's a good, like, you want there to feel like some weight to it, where when you're looking at the choices that you have, I think a good system allows for some like pondering. So it's not just, I'll try this and then wipe it and try this and then wipe it. Now, I mean, to be fair, what we do during early access might be a little different. Like we might not be as heavy-handed with it during early access as we will at launch, but we want it to feel a little bit weighty, but we don't want it to be, you know, we don't want to go as far as what some people would like, which would be like there is no respec, like you choose and you're done, which, yeah, I mean, we're not going to go that far with it for sure. So I think needing to go to town to respec and having some like coin cost is, I think it's sufficient. Would you compare the spring release to an alpha to beta transition to the game's development? That's a really interesting question. I would say this is gonna this might trigger some people to say it like this, but to me it feels kind of like an alpha to pre-beta transition. There are still a couple of things system-wise that, for example, like the update to the quest perception system that we have planned is coming in summer. So there are still a few things like that, but if pre-beta were a thing, you're kind of on the verge of being in a beta state. That's kind of where we'll be. So, are you guys fully funded? Why ever would you ask? Hey, Adams? What forthwith couldst thou have achieved that curiosity? Ding! Are we fully funded? I'm just playing with you. I know exactly where that question's coming from. So here, the way we've always said it is this. Weird Steven is joining the team. No, absolutely not. The way we've always phrased it is this, and I think this is the most accurate and the most honest. Do we have what we need to get to launch? Yes. What we have always been trying to do. So when you compare Pantheon to Ashes had at least, I mean, again, our understanding of things is changing based on the information that's coming out, based on the lawsuits and the various, you know, court proceedings that are going to be happening. We'll learn more about what was actually going on, but based on, you know, even based on a lot of the revelations, it's clear that there was a lot of money. There's a lot of money there. Wherever the money came from and how, you know, all that stuff. Like, again, the point being that Ashes was a very large team. This was a team of like 250 people. A lot of these developers were like, I mean, they had some like creme de la creme developers, very, very valuable, you know, highly paid people working on the game. Whereas we have had some injections of funding along the way from angel investors and some various different things, but we've never really kind of crossed out of that threshold of being like really scrappy, and you know, our resources being pretty much like hand to mouth in terms of like we need this single position very badly, so we need to, you know, see if there's any way we can make that specific hire. So I'm saying all this to say, yes, we are funded until launch, but there's the launch scope is fluid to some degree, because the more resources we have available to us, there is more than we want to do by launch. That will depend on like how much resources we have in kind of the timetable that we have. So we have an intended launch date goal, which I'm not going to say, like I'm not going to share that. We're not ready to share that yet, because again, things are still fluid, and you just never want to, I mean, yeah. I mean, even if you know, and like all the resources are there and everything's like, there's a time to announce a launch date, and it's not now for us. But the more money that we have, the more resources that we have, the faster we can go getting the more that we want to get done to have a more full, robust launch. But we also have what we would call like an MVP, basically. A 1.0 MVP that we are going to be able to hit. So, yeah. Pantheon is, I mean, there's not a question there. Like, Pantheon absolutely will reach 1.0. We're taking the full use and the full help of this EA period to make the game better, to continue to flesh out our systems, make sure they're fun, make sure they resonate. We're definitely in that kind of march to launch now, so. How can the community help VR other than buy the game? Honestly, every time this question's asked, like, I keep coming back to the same thing. It is, these indie games are so dependent on that grassroots kind of like just talking about it with people that you know that play MMOs. You know, when there's like, it's the kind of thing where, I mean, there's people that come into the stream all the time, especially, you know, since everything happened with Ashes, and they'll say things like, man, Pantheon, I stopped following this thing after the Kickstarter all those years ago, which, by the way, like, Pantheon's Kickstarter failed. We're a Kickstarter project, I guess you could say, because we did, you know, start things off with an attempted Kickstarter campaign. This was before I was on the team. It was not successful, so, but we've been largely crowdfunded since then. We've been crowdfunded all the way up until we launched EA, and when we launched EA, that's when we transitioned to, you know, just buying the game and all that. So my ADD kicked in. What was I saying? Where were we going? Oh yeah, how can you help? Yeah, just talking about the game and places where the game's talked about, you know, coming, you know, to this stream, when just, you know, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, just do what you normally do when you like a game, you know? And also just be aware that, like, with the wipe that's coming in the spring and the major update that's coming in the spring, Pantheon right now is kind of in like a little bit of a napping state with the community. There's not a lot of people talking about it. There's not a lot of videos being made about it. You compare that with when we launched EA, and it was an explosion. And I think we're on track for another one of those come spring. Spring is going to be a major update. There's going to be a lot of people coming back to play the game. There's going to be a lot of conversation, and I expect those kind of peaks and valleys to happen as we go through EA, knowing that launch will be kind of the ultimate moment. Launch will be the ultimate moment where pretty much anybody that has interest in the game at that point will be coming back to play. And also, a lot of people that have been waiting to play will be playing. How are we on time? We're good. We got about another like 15-20 minutes. You gotta remember too, though, like, going back to the whole alpha and beta question, like, it's hard to even use those terms anymore with the way game development is now. I mean, it still fits with some projects, but with early access and open development and all this kind of stuff, you know, we've kind of lost some of that clear sense of, you know, what's alpha, what's beta, what's release kind of thing. I mean, obviously, you know what release is, but so don't get too hung up on that terminology, you know. Did we see an uptick in users? When? Do you feel it was a missed opportunity to pick up users, players when the AOC drama dropped? Not saying it was or not, just your thoughts. Oh, you mean like had the big spring update or whatever corresponded with the Ashes stuff? Yeah, I mean, I've thought that, you know, how it would have been great if like the wipe and the update was like now, you know, within some weeks of the Ashes thing. It's really hard to say because, and I tend to be the kind of person that to some degree trusts, kind of have a trust in the way things end up working out. You know, I mean, I don't want to take that too far, but like, we would not be ready before when we were planning to do it. So it's like, there's a level in which there's really no other way. It just is what it is. It's gonna happen when it happens, and that's the soonest it could happen and be what we need it to be, which is an amazing update, very solid, very fun, very exciting, really kind of casts the vision for everybody of what Pantheon is on its way of becoming. So it does in some degree feel like a missed opportunity. There's that kind of FOMO of like, oh man, if we had just been like, because I know that Pantheon's a game that's going to resonate with a lot of the same people that were following Ashes, a lot of people that play classic WoW, and of course a lot of people that, you know, grew up on classic MMOs like EverQuest and others. There's a large, you know, potential player base out there, and a lot of them have not even heard of Pantheon yet. It's crazy to me how many people still pop into the stream and say like, what is this? I've never heard of it. I'm from Ashes, you know, or been playing WoW. I've never heard of this game. So there's a lot of untapped, like, awareness. But I guess that's where I go back to, like, I think these games, they rely so much on word of mouth. They rely, I mean, we're kind of in the age of influencers now, and so when you see streamers and influencers playing these games, that's when you see a lot of games pop off. And so you have opportunities like in spring. I know there's a lot of, you know, larger content creators who are planning on coming and jumping on in spring and checking things out. There's just going to be all these things converging, and I think it's still soon enough, considering like the Ashes situation, that I don't know that people will have found their new home by then, you know? I think they'll still be looking. I think there'll be a few more options potentially on the table, but I definitely think we still have room to capitalize on it, yeah. On the window here. It's one of the reasons why I'm interested in this. I'm meeting we were planning on doing it next Thursday, but the founder, the leader of Scars of Honor, which is a very like WoW-like. I say this every time. I don't mean that as like a dismissive thing at all. I just mean it's you watch it and it's like, okay, I can see somebody who loves World of Warcraft and probably people who, you know, were really into Ashes, people especially who really love PvP. I could see them really getting into Scars of Honor. We're gonna do a stream together next week where we can both talk about our games and kind of get to know each other a little bit, and I think that'll be another good opportunity to introduce a lot more people to Pantheon and vice versa. I mean, you know, I think it'll be good, but yeah. This might be a strange question, but do you think there's a reasonable limit for camera pull-out distance? In a lot of modern MMOs, you can zoom the camera so far out it feels like you're in the sky, and I think it really takes away from the immersion that made the older MMO worlds feel so special. I actually like where your camera is right now. Any thoughts? I love closer cameras. In fact, I just recently caved at increasing the camera pull-out distance. So like right now, this is as far as you can go. This is max. I caved and increased that by a couple meters because there have been so many people that are like, I just feel like it's so close, so locked in. So I think there's a range in which you do want to give players as much sovereignty as you can with how they feel most comfortable. But I think there's also a point where when you cross it, it starts becoming more about like game leverage, like leveraging against the game, basically, to have such a far distance that you have just such a greater sense of like awareness. And Pantheon's really big on, because it's a classically spirited MMO, it's really big on danger and risk and things like that. And so we don't want to go so far with it that becomes just kind of like a way to cheese some of that. So I'm not ever going to like get to the point where we like lock players into something really tight. Even though for me, I like it, like I resonate with that. But we definitely are going to clamp it where it's not ridiculous. It's not like you're playing like an isometric game or anything. Hope Asmongold gives the game a fair shake after the game is more fleshed out. Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean, Asmongold comes up from time to time on the stream, and I like Asmongold. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy his takes, even though he's, you know, crapped on Pantheon the 2 times that he's talked about it. But to be fair, it was a long time ago, and also to be fair, most of what he said I agree with for what it was at the time. But yeah, I don't know. There was a time where I would have expected that he would have, and he probably still will, just because of the history Pantheon's had, especially with what's happened with Ashes and how like indie MMOs. I think it's newsworthy. You know, I think Pantheon reaching 1.0 will be newsworthy. But I mean, as far as him personally liking it, I just feel like his taste in games has changed. I don't know that he would enjoy a game like this. Just straight up, like, not because like having nothing to do with the quality of the game or like how well it's how good of an experience it is or whatever. I think it's more just I don't know that he'll ever play an MMO again. You know, who knows? But it seems like he's, I don't know, kind of MMO'd out. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't play game. I mean, yeah, he's definitely not playing as many games as he used to. And to be clear, like, you know, I don't, when I want to watch like a streamer playing games, Asmongold isn't my go-to. I like seeing his takes on certain games, and, you know, it's more like catching takes and like hot clips and things like that more so than I don't like, yeah. But from what I've seen, and I generally like his takes, but from what I've seen, like, he's definitely not as on the gaming side as he once was. He's a WoW baby, won't like Pantheon. Yeah, see, that's what I'm really curious about, though. Like, that's one of the big, I feel like, risks that we're taking or kind of like banking on is like the people that grew up on World of Warcraft are the people that played WoW when it was in its classic state. So they were there for the trilogy, right? Like Vanilla, Burning Crusade, and Wrath. And I feel like those 3 expansions largely, I feel like, captured and kind of held on to the magic of what WoW was in the beginning. And I think what Pantheon's trying to do, again, and some of you are like tired of hearing me say this, so I apologize, but like we're trying to bridge that gap, right? Of like, where did EverQuest leave off? Where did classic WoW begin? And how could that moment have had a handshake that ended up in an experience that didn't lose as much of the classic MMO that you lost with WoW, but also didn't stubbornly refuse a lot of the polish and the quality of life and the advancements that WoW brought to the table. And I think there's something really compelling there, and that's what we're trying to capture. And so it's less about like truly recreating like a classic MMO experience as it was back in the classic days. It's less about recreating that verbatim, and it's more about like kind of trying to navigate how to take the DNA and serve it to a modern gamer, which again is a lot of us, a lot of you guys. Even if you don't think you're that way, you know, you've played MMOs for the last 20 years, and unless you've and some of you, I mean, again, I'm not denying there are some people that have only played like EverQuest and Ultima and things like that, but I mean, unless you've literally lived on a diet of like only old school MMOs, you have in some ways, you know, kind of dripped and tiptoed into being a modern gamer with modern expectations of controls and performance and responsiveness and smoothness and, you know, user experience, UI, UX, those types of things. So anyway. Yeah. Hey, it's Utarian. Yeah, and much respect. Much respect. I was an original EQ baby in Ultima Online, so I started off rough, learned rough, enjoyed rough, and loved rough. I was an original. I mean, I was definitely on the younger side when EQ launched. But yeah, I mean, EQ was my first MMO. EQ is my favorite MMO. So I get it. Okay, I don't need that. I have to admit, I've learned Asmongold is far more base than I ever would have thought. Yeah, he is. There's an art to rage baiting too, right? Like, and there's content creators and personalities that like they know how to rage bait for content, and that you have to remember that too. Like there is a whole art and science around maximizing viewership, maximizing click-through rate by knowing how to rage bait. And I think he has mastered that in many ways. I'm dead. EQ is my first MMO, but definitely do not enjoy as fondly as the nostalgia in my mind recently. This feels dated in many aspects these days. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I think that's a really important thing to remember, that, like, I will go back, and I've said this before too, that the only MMO that I have regularly returned to is EverQuest. Even with I haven't played WoW Classic. WoW Classic launched. Like, what an amazingly huge deal that was when they came out with WoW Classic, and I never played it. Well, I take that back. I did play it, but it was like, not really. EQ has been the only game that I've ever returned to. But, and I'm not saying this is true for everybody, and I'm not saying this is like the right take or anything. I'm just saying what I would also say is, if I had not played EverQuest and had the experiences that I had with it, I genuinely do not know if I was playing it for the first time today, if I would like it. I don't know. My gut is that I probably wouldn't if I was playing it for the first time today. And, there's things I think to glean from that. It doesn't mean that it's not an amazing game. Because it is an amazing game, and when you consider what it did and what it accomplished when it was, originally in play, it's amazing. It's crazy. And the fact that it has had such a hold on so many of us for so long, it's crazy. But yeah, like when I go back and play EQ, I'm not playing it because I'm so like, I'm playing it because I'm immersed in this mixture of like the game that I love, the sights and the sounds and the memories, and I'm filling gaps, with things that I never did when I first played it. And ultimately, that's a lot of what led, like, a lot of the conversations Brad and I had early on, and a lot of kind of what shaped our trajectory with Pantheon was that fact that it's like, obviously EverQuest is a one-of-a-kind, goated game, and there are things that made it that way that we want to preserve, but we got to make something that people can play today that they're going to have fun with, that they're really going to have fun with. I would agree with that. When I played EQ, it was insane to me to play with so many players and the fantasy aspect of it. All of it was new. There was no such thing as quality of life stuff to compare. Yeah, that's right. There was no comparison. I mean, I think part of the evidence of that is like how I can be nostalgic for things like going Link Dead, or the way that like I can remember losing connection and seeing like a train of mobs that were just like running in place, knowing that as soon as everything caught up or as soon as I DC'd and came back, I'd be dead, and all this experience I would have lost. And like I'm nostalgic for those things because there was nothing else to compare it to. It was mind-blowing what we were experiencing. Online gaming for like the first time for many of us. It's crazy. Falling off a boat at the zone wall. Yeah, I mean, think of how often people wax nostalgic about that. Like, I was on the boat and I fell through it and was like in the middle of the ocean and drowned and had no idea how to get back to my body, and it was just lost. Like, and I know that, like, to some degree, that experience even today would still be fun and enjoyable. So I'm not saying that it's a complete, like, at all, you know? I mean, heck, like, Pantheon's a great example. There are definitely moments and things that happen in Pantheon that are very reminiscent of that, and it's painful, and it's like, ding. So I get it. And that's the stuff that we want to hold on to. That's why, you know, I've said, like, we're gonna, Pantheon will have a death penalty. Like, that's something we're not gonna change. You know, we have a corpse run in our game. We haven't made it as harsh. It's not as harsh as EQ's was. We've made, you know, binding and, you know, where you're able to bind your character and things like that. We've made that a little more accessible as well. You know, we've taken some of the sting off of it, but, you know, not all of it. Feels like gaming culture has changed a lot over the past 30 years. Players today seem to expect frequent dopamine hits and constant progression, whether through gear abilities or other rewards. How's Pantheon planning to balance its slower old school design philosophy with modern player expectations if progression feels too slow? Is there a concern about retaining the player base? Yeah, to an extent. To an extent, and that's another one of those areas where I would say we've evolved the true core old school experience a little bit. Hey guys, it's probably time for me to wrap up. I just realized I've got about 5 minutes till this meeting. After this kill, we can stuck out. But a lot of what we're going to be doing during early access, and especially once our public test realm goes live, is you know, we want to very carefully dial in the experience curve. We've timed, like, the acquisition of spells and abilities for our characters to be every 2 levels for that reason. Instead of EQ, it was like every 4, every 5, and you'd have this long stretch sometimes before you got anything new. A lot of how we're re-approaching our itemization come spring is with a little bit more of that in mind. I don't think dopamine hits are bad. I don't think they're bad. We've actually had iterations of Pantheon where, you know, you played your first, like, 10, 15 levels and didn't see a single item. Super scarce. And it wasn't good. It didn't feel good, you know? So we've over time, we've kind of, like, very incrementally tweaked and sent that pendulum back and forth to different degrees to find what I feel like is the right mix of embracing some of that dopamine, but still keeping intact things that are much more hard wrought, that don't come easily. And I think there's a good way to balance that. The mastery system is another way we want to inject some of that dopamine rhythm, because with mastery, you get a mastery point every time you level up. You've also got, like, your mastery experience bar that is filling up independently of the level up. So you've got a couple of different ways of getting some alternate advancement, character progression as you level up as well. There's a lot of horizontal content that you can... that's an EA only feature command, by the way. That's so yeah. I mean, I think I could ramble about this for a while, but it's a good question, and I think the key is, like, finding the right balance. Finding the right balance. Dopamine is good. I mean, dopamine, we like it. You know, we like dopamine, but yeah, if you cross the line too much, then you have to ride it just right, you know, or close to just right, because you don't want to get numb to it, you know. Yes, we are still planning on having the mastery shards, so NPCs have an extremely rare chance of dropping a mastery shard that you can combine with enough of them you can combine together into a mastery point. Yep. All right, my friends. Awesome stream. Thank you so much for being here today. I've got to cut it a little bit early tonight. I've got a hard stop with a meeting that I need to get to. I'll be back on Wednesday. So if you're new to the stream, every Monday and Wednesday, I stream around 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Pacific, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's Monday and Wednesday. So I'll be back Wednesday. I'm trying to do an extra stream on like Fridays when I can. I'll keep you posted on that, but I'll definitely see you Wednesday. And then we do have the extra stream coming up the following week, where, like I said, we're sitting down with the founder of Scars of Honor. So that's going to be really cool. I'll keep you guys posted on that too. But until next time, my friends, seriously, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Hope you had a good time. And I will look forward to seeing you all again very soon on Wednesday. Till then, take care. See you soon.